student wherever he or she is, rather than the student having to come over to you. Now, when we talk of distance education, there are various forms of distance education. The first of these, which is the most popular, is probably the online education. Now, in the online version of distance education, here the modality of delivering instruction and probably up to examinations is almost 100% online, i.e., there's virtually no interaction between the student and the teacher. So everything is handled online. The second over there is what we refer to as blended learning. Now, in blended learning, it meant a little bit of marriage between the traditional and modernity. So the online is brought into place, and it is used in delivering education to our students. But then some level of interaction is permissible for tutorials, for practicals when you're dealing with science-based students, for field work, studio practice, and examinations. Now, what the National University Commission has approved to be practiced in Nigeria is the blended learning. So no university in Nigeria actually practices full online learning. That is not permissible. So what we do in the Ahmadu University is a blended learning. Now, the third, which is also part of the blended learning, is the so-called IT-enabled blended learning. Now, this is a form of blended learning in which the aspect of delivery that does not, the aspect of delivering the program to the students uses IT technology, that's information technology. So computers, the internet are the primary modality. If you remember years ago, there are other means in which institutions try to reach out to students, correspondence, TV, radio, and other similar means. Now, what we are doing in the Ahmadu Bello University is an IT-supported blended learning. Now, having said that, let's put the Nigerian situation in perspective. What is the situation like in Nigeria currently? We believe that we're a nation of at least 160 million people, and that number is still growing. Now, out of these, every year about 2 million young men and women apply for university education in this country. The collective capacity of all the universities we have, the approved universities, about 145 of them, is only about 30% of the number that apply. What do we do with the 70%? Year in, year out, we've simply been postponing the evil deed. 70% of our youth who have the capacity to get into the university are denied that opportunity. After 2-3 years, a lot of them get frustrated. What do they turn back to? Crime, violence, and all that social vices in the community. We believe that it is time to put a stop to all of these. And Ahmadu Bello University, being a public university, has the responsibility to participate in this drive. Still back? I'm not through with the last slide. Now, of course, there's a continuous demand for university degrees. I also want to draw our attention to this, that there are tens of thousands of Nigerian students outside this country. And at least about 3 years ago, it's been reported that about 71,000 Nigerian students are in Ghana, just one country. And that we expend at least 155 billion naira in maintaining them in Ghana. That is a boost to the Ghanaian economy and a big waste to Nigeria. Just imagine bringing back the 155 billion, sharing it out among the 145 universities we have. Every university will get more than $1 billion. That will change our universities. But because we've not been able to meet up with this, they have no choice but to move over. We know Malaysia is another fertile ground for Nigerian students. But we are saying technology has made it possible for us to expand our system so that all of our students going to Malaysia, going to Ghana, and other parts of the world need not do that. If you want to do that simply because you want to, that's a different ballgame entirely. But we should be able to give them the opportunity within Nigeria. They are Nigerian citizens, and they have a right to be educated. We have a duty to give them that opportunity within the shores of Nigeria. And in the Ahmadu Bello University, we've decided that we must do that as a duty. Now, what did the federal government try to do to attend to some of these problems? The first of these, of course, is to establish the National Open University of Nigeria. But that has not fully solved the problem. Yes, there are students going to the National Open University, but our problems have still remained. The next is that the National Universities Commission now felt that, yeah, distance education is the way forward. Because that is the trend all over the world. 8 universities in Nigeria currently are registered as dual mode universities, which allows them to deliver both on campus as well as using the distance learning mode. Now, these universities, of course, are the University of Abuja here. Then we have the University of Lagos, the University of Ibadan, the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ife, Ladoke Akintola University in Ogbomoso, the Mauritech, that is the Modibo Adama, University of Technology in Yola, the University of Maiduguri, as well as the Ahmadu Bello University. These universities are approved to run distance learning programs in Nigeria. No other institution has been approved to do that in this country. The federal government also tried establishing additional universities. But as I said, that is more of a waste than anything, because you have to duplicate a lot of administration, you have to duplicate a lot of things in setting up a university. But we, 145 universities, as we said, we can only cater for about 30% of our students. Now let's get closer to the Ahmadu Bello University, our alumni, our babies. Historically, distance education, also a form of distance education, actually started in Nigeria, or by an institution in Nigeria way back in the 70s, where we have the University of the Year, we have the Teachers Passport program. All of these were then domiciled in the Institute of Education. And amazingly, the Ahmadu Bello University is the first university in Nigeria to have commenced a form of distance education. Unfortunately, we probably went to sleep after that. But we are reawakening from our slumber to take our rightful place. So for us, the model of distance learning delivery involves the application of multimedia technology as our key tool in the delivery of education to our students. Now, what does this mean? It simply meant that virtually the entire process is automated. Right from the advertisement process, for quite a number of you who have noticed, a larger fraction of those people who have indicated interest in what we're doing actually saw it on Facebook. Other social media were also employed. Yeah, we did the traditional thing, go to the newspapers and also publish it. But information technology was also employed right from the beginning, the advertisement. Then once you are admitted, after application, we have automated our system, so there's no point in having an admissions committee that's going to meet. Because programmed into the system are the requirements for that particular program. So if you're coming to the Distance Learning Center of the Ahmadu Bello University, once you fill the form, the system is able to match your entry with the admission requirements, and if you are qualified, it automatically generates an admission slip. Within 5 minutes, you get your admission letter in your email. You don't have to wait indefinitely to receive an admission letter. And if you are not qualified, it also generates a letter telling you where your deficiencies are and sends it to your email as well, so that you know where your problems are. And if you have issues with that, there are numbers that are given to you which you can call, and they will clarify. Because there might be certain qualifications that won't earn you a place in there, but probably it has not been entered into the system. So we can now discuss that. And if we think you're still qualified, we override the instruction, and you are taken in. So the entire admission process now is an automatic thing. You fill the form in 5 minutes, you know you are admitted or you're not admitted. You just wait for when the program is going to be deployed, and you move in as a student and commence your program. Next. Now, why did ABU deem it necessary to go into distance education in the first place? The first of these is the inability of ABU itself to accommodate all those who apply to the Ahmadu Bello University. Using 2016-2017 as a test case, about 49,963 or thereabouts students have, or let me say, JAB has sent to the Ahmadu Bello University about 49,963 students who have made the cutoff of 180 points and above. Now, what is ABU's capacity? 7,000. I was in the Senate yesterday, which was chaired by my able Deputy Vice Chancellor here, and a lot of faculties raised concerns that that number is untenable. The 7,000 that we've been taking is simply over and beyond our capacity, and that our classrooms are crowded, and that is the truth. So the real capacity of our university is probably around 5,000-6,000. Now, where you have about 50,000 people making 180 points and above, and you are only going to take about 5,000, what happens to the about 45,000? Year in, year out, that is the problem. You throw away 45,000, then by next year, some of them reapply again, and then you are going to have those who have just graduated from the secondary school that year again, joining this group. So every year the problem becomes worse and worse. Because you have those backlogs from last year who couldn't be admitted, applying. You now have those coming out of secondary school applying again. You have those who had applied 2-3 years ago still applying. So at the end of the day, it's a vicious cycle that has no end. Somebody has to break it somewhere. We've decided to put a stop to it, we've decided to break it. And it's not just with the undergraduate program. We're having a similar challenge even with the postgraduate studies. We get an average application rate of between 11,000 and 12,000 every year. Individuals applying to come to the Ahmadu Bello University. We can only admit about 4,500. What that meant is that 5,000-6,000 postgraduate students can still not secure admission in the Ahmadu Bello University because we simply do not have the space, the classroom environment to accommodate them. So clearly, ABU has reached its limits as far as on-campus admission is concerned. So if ABU has to continue to grow, which it must, because there's no choice, then we'll have to look elsewhere. And technology has now made it possible for us to achieve that without necessarily having to expand our classrooms, having to expand our laboratories, having to expand other facilities or hostels on campus. There's the need to review educational delivery in line with current trends. As we said, the Ahmadu Bello University has decided that it's time that there should be a change in educational delivery in Nigeria, and that ABU should take its rightful place. And that rightful place, of course, is the #1 slot. Consequently, we've decided to be part of this move, to change educational delivery. We believe that once we make a success of it in the Distance Learning Center, it's going to rub off on other parts of the Ahmadu Bello University, and consequently, we believe it will rub off on other universities. Distance learning, mind you, is nothing new per se. But the ABU model, which I will be talking about later, has some unique features about it that makes the ABU model unique in its own case. So we'll be talking about the ABU model later. Now, who are the target beneficiaries? Along the line, I had mentioned quite a number of them, but we'll try to recapture that. First, we said qualified applicants unable to secure on-campus admission. That is obvious. Secondly, we said passive applicants. What do we mean by passive applicants? Passive applicants are actually those who never bother to apply. They want to secure the university education, but they never bother to apply because their knowledge of their kind of vocation or their location is such that they know they will not have the time, so they don't even bother to apply. Now, that is also a target. We are trying to reach out to that population to tell them that now you don't have to move around. You can stay in your bedroom and acquire a PhD without having to move anywhere. It is possible. Technology has made that possible. And the Ahmadu Bello University is imbibing that technology along with our consultants EduTech to make sure that we make that happen in Nigeria. Thirdly, we said on-campus students unable to continue their studies on campus. Now, this is especially true with postgraduate students. Quite a number of our students are military personnel, security personnel, individuals who are workers, bankers, and things like that. They come over and commence their education. Midway through, they get transferred out of Zaria, out of Kaduna State. In the case of military personnel, you probably get posted to Liberia or Sudan or somewhere else. That is usually the end of that education. We are saying, no, why should it be that way? You can continue your education wherever you are in the world and still get a quality Ahmadu University degree. So if you are an on-campus student, and the nature of your job now makes it impossible for you to continue, all you have to do is to apply to us to transfer the nature of your study from the on-campus environment to the distance learning platform, and you continue until you complete your study and still get that degree. So those days where you abandon it, and that's the end, what you have invested in terms of time, money, and other things go to waste. It's no longer the case now. Fourth, we have Nigerians in diaspora. There are quite a number of Nigerians out there who one day believe that they will still want to come back to this country, and they want to gain some kind of qualification in Nigeria. There are also some foreigners who might be interested in Nigerian qualifications. One of the things we noticed with the applications for the MBA is that we noticed there was even an applicant from India. We had another one from Chad. And we received quite a number of calls from the UK and the US about individuals interested in our program. So we believe that we are going to get an international audience. And right from design, we are not making this program to be a Nigerian program. We're making it a world program. It's going to be an international program. Our intention is to put ABU on the world map in the Committee of Universities. That is where ABU belongs, and that is where ABU should be. Now, in addition to all of these, we are also trying to identify organizations that may seek special courses, diploma programs, and the like. But these programs probably don't exist in conventional universities. So once a need is identified, we will approach the appropriate department and put together a package that will address the needs of these organizations and run these programs for them. So their staff don't have to live where they are and come over to Zaria. No, their staff remain where they are. They put in the same number of hours they do at work, but we get the education across to them. So they can build their capacity while they're still working without losing man hours and still get their staff, the capacity of their staff improved the way it ought to be. Good. Now, for the ABU distance learning model, we'll just try to mention some salient things about it. The total time to complete your program is equivalent. What we mean by this is that if you have a 2-year program, a 3-year program on campus, that is the suggested time on the distance learning platform. But this essentially only holds for the undergraduate, because that is where the National Universities Commissioner is rigid about the number of years to spend. In the case of diploma programs and postgraduate programs, however, the distance learning affords you a lot of flexibility. How long you stay on the program is a function of what time is at your disposal. If you come for our program, which is our flagship, which we're talking about today, which is the MBA program, the suggested duration of the MBA special is 3 years. But you can get your MBA within 18 months on the special program. And why did I say that? There are a set of courses you must offer. If you can commit the amount of time required, you can register for more courses than advertised. You can register for courses at a higher level, which meant you can complete all your courses within the stipulated time. And the basic requirement for graduation is that you offer these courses and you pass them. So as far as distance education is concerned, how long you stay on the program depends on you. The ball is in your court. It's unlike the campus environment where you have a timetable. These are the courses for this semester. These are the courses for the next semester. In distance education, those walls are broken. You decide when you want to graduate. You decide when you want to study. You decide where you want to study. Let me say this, it's a little bit funny, but quite a number of people find it very convenient to study in the toilets. Yes. To sit down there, spend hours. You can choose that the toilet is where you want to study. You are free to do that on the distance learning platform. Now, each of our students will be required to have an IT facility that allows him or her access. And this is where we've decided to really manifest what our capacity is. We all know about e-learning, e-learning, and e-learning. Now the world is moving away from e-learning. We're not talking about m-learning. M-learning simply refers to mobile technology. So we're moving from electronic the more advanced form, which is the mobile technology. Now, for us in the Ahmadu Bello University, we've decided not to be a follower but a leader. And consequently, we've decided to explore the possibility of learning in our distance learning delivery. So what that meant is that for our student on the MBA or whatever platform whatsoever, all that student needs is a smartphone. With this, you can graduate from the Ahmadu Bello University. You don't need anything else. Because our course materials are designed in a way that you can use them on desktops, you can use them on laptops, you can use them on tablet devices. I'll be talking of the customized tablet devices we have, and you can also use them on your smartphone. And that is what M-Learning is all about, and that is where the world is moving in. And that is where we decided to place Ahmadu Bello University. We likewise decided that on campus, we usually have this saying, or let me say generally around, you hear a lot of it being said, our students don't want to read. Our students now don't want to study. They're lazy. Sometimes some of us bring this to question and we say, is it the students who don't want to read? Or is it we, the teachers, who don't want to read? And what do I mean by this? We, the teachers, have failed to read our students. We have failed to come to terms with the reality of the 21st century, that our students these days are not like us, that these students have a different wiring upstairs completely. These students are IT students. They are not like us. We carry books all over the place. Because the students don't want to carry books, we say they are lazy, they don't want to read. Who said so? I don't believe that. We don't believe that in the distance learning center. We believe that we now have a different set of young people coming up that do not look at the world from our own point of view. And that it is our duty to try to understand how they view the world so that we can attend to them within the facets of their own perception of this world. And bearing that in mind, we realize that a student that may perform woefully, if you insist that he or she will have to read textbooks and other things, may be a fantastic student when you give that same student the information on an electronic media. So we decided that students on the distance learning platform must be given options so that whatever your perception is, whichever of your senses you are more attuned to using in learning, we will give you the opportunity to use it. Consequently, our students have 4 options of educational delivery. The first of these is that we produce the course materials. Please, can I have one copy of the course materials? So first of these is that we still go by the tradition. This is a sample of the course material we produce for the MBA program. It's called Fundamentals of Marketing. So for each subject that we teach in each of the programs, a booklet of this nature is produced, which covers the entire course. So right from the beginning, as a student registers, if he or she wants, he picks a copy of this. So he has all his materials for that subject. So it's unlike the traditional on-campus environment where you come to class, you are given a little bit, tomorrow you are given a little bit, and it goes on that way. And if you do not have an opportunity to get a seat in the classroom, you probably may not even be in a position to write anything. So we have course materials already developed. Now this same course material has also been developed. The electronic version of the course material is also available. Now for our students who are more IT savvy, they don't want the books. They don't want to even see these books. The course materials are now provided for them on the tablet devices. They are preloaded already on the tablet devices. And if you don't want to use our tablet device, you have the option of just picking the flash drive, which we refer to as the video drive. Sorry, the video drive. The video drive. And then on it, you can insert it onto your smartphone, so you can read the electronic the electronic version of the course materials. You can put it on the desktop. You can use it in any other facility you want. Thirdly, we decided to also produce PowerPoints of the various lectures. And then we had a voiceover which has been videoed. So if you are more attuned to studying by vision, you can watch these videos and learn from them instead of reading books. And we know, when you look around our campuses these days, one of the things that we see our students love is to just put on an earphone, just shaking their heads and moving around. That is it. And we told ourselves that it is high time that universities stop insisting that students have to adapt to what we want. Let us look at our students, and we should be the ones to adapt to what these students love. Consequently, we decided to produce audio versions of all the course materials. So a student doesn't even have to read. You can close your eyes, put on an earphone, and listen to all our lectures. Now, this is what we say. We need to start this revolution. Education has to change, delivery has to change. And the Ahmadu Bello University is taking that lead in this change. Now, in addition to these delivery methods that we did mention, of course, an e-library is available to our students. We are probably all conversant with the traditional library service. You go into the library, you look for a book, you clean all the dust on the book, and then you start reading the book. Unfortunately, you go halfway through and you realize that half of the pages have been torn away by some other students. And that book is absolutely useless to you. We are now saying, no, that is not the way. A library is not about the amount of books in there. My computer could be more important or could contain a lot more resources than a library that is 20 stories high. So why do I need that building? Waste of resources and money. So we have an e-library that has been developed, which is remote. Our students can now access that e-library. We're also working towards all our students accessing the Kashim Ibrahim Library of the Ahmadu Bello University. So our students, wherever they are in the world, can access our library resources, get the books that they need. So whatever book we refer you to, we'll make sure that book is available on our e-library. So it's not a case of we tell you, read this book, read chapter 1 of these books, and you can't find the book. No. You will find it on our e-library. So we do have the digital library or the e-library, which is supposed to serve that purpose. And the e-library is not just going to be hosted in Zaria. No. We are also going to have an e-library in each of the resource centers that we have. We'll be talking about the resource centers later. Okay? So we are going to have it replicated in each of our resource centers. So that our students who are within the vicinity of that resource center, if they're having challenges with bandwidth, they can go to our library, download videos, go through our library resources, access the primary library that we have, and similar things. Now the tablet device that we're talking about. The tablet device is just a base. We're talking of something that has a battery life of about 9 hours. Now the suggested study period that will be per day is about 2 hours. So if you are on a program, you should be able to commit 2 hours per day for at least 6 days in a week for your program. That is the suggested study period for distance learning. Now, if you have a device that has a battery life of 9 hours, and you'll probably have an opportunity to charge it once in 3 days, let's assume you are in such a remote place that it takes you 3 days before you can move to a facility where there's a generator and then you can charge your device. This is all that you need and it will take you through. Now that is the tablet device. So all your course materials, the electronic version, the videos, and the audios are already preloaded on these. And this device has been configured to our portal and study site. So once you put it on, it just takes you there automatically. So you can access course materials. In addition to we having the course materials preloaded, they are also available online. But then because we know occasionally you may have challenges with the bandwidth and similar things, so we already have everything here. So where the online interaction becomes necessary is when you are submitting assignments, you are downloading assignments, you want to see notices that were posted to you. But another thing we've also realized is that the learning management system, which is the engine room for distance learning delivery, sometimes our students even find that a little bit cumbersome. Entering a username, a password, sometimes they even find that a lot more difficult. This is the 21st century. The social media has taken over. So what we've decided to do in Zaria is that for each program we are floating, we'll open a WhatsApp group for it. We have a WhatsApp group for every program that we do. Now, for the pilot diploma programs that we are running, we open a WhatsApp group. I am on the WhatsApp group. So students find it easier to communicate their challenges 200 postings. But I go through each and every one of them so that I know what the feelings are within my students. And if in 2 days that issue has not been addressed, we'll make sure that we speak to the appropriate person who ought to have sorted out that problem. So a lot of students, that is the direction the students are. So we shouldn't wait and insist that the students have to come to class, they have to read the kind of, no. Let's understand these students, let's understand where they are, and then we'll try to get across to them. That is what we're doing now. Of course, there are other delivery platforms that we are also using in Zaria. One of these is teleconferencing or video conferencing. Now let me talk about the video conferencing thing. We're talking about video conferencing because it looks like we're probably the only institution that has decided to use this in educational delivery in the country. And what are we using video conferencing for? Part of the blended learning requires that we have tutorials for our students before the examinations. Now we looked at the reality and say, okay, fine, we have the teachers in Zaria. Are we going to insist that all our students, wherever they are in the world, should come over to Zaria for tutorials? And we said, no, technology has made it possible to go away from this. So we decided to replicate the video conferencing center in each and every one of our resource centers, so that when it is time for the tutorials, we simply bring out a schedule, we send the schedule to all our students, so you know what tutorial is happening at what material time. And then from Zaria, over there where the teacher is, we'll beam it to all the resource centers. So you can go there and participate in the tutorial. By video conferencing, you can stop the teacher, ask your own question, as if you were seated there in Zaria with us. And you'll be part and parcel of the tutorial process. So you don't have to be in Zaria to participate in tutorials. Technology has made that possible. And we are employing that technology to make sure we deliver it that way. In addition to that, another thing we also want to use the video conferencing for is that we have also decided to identify world leaders in various disciplines, so that whatever program it is we're running, we intend to link up with an institution that is known all over the world for that particular specialization. And we should be able to get one of the professors over there to talk to our students via video conference. And then we'll beam it to all our students, so that our students will be lectured by the very best the world has to offer. So these are all some of the benefits of the video conferencing. Okay, teleconferencing is also there. We also meet our students with our students by teleconferencing. We have the print material, as we said. We have the face-to-face, which is the traditional. But as much as possible, we even discourage the traditional. We try to make sure we reach you. You don't have to come over to see our ugly faces in Zaria. Yeah. However, for students, in the next 2 years, we shall be venturing, hopefully, into the sciences. Now that poses a completely different challenge, because there are practicals to be done. And in some of our programs, industrial design and things like that, fine arts, there's studio work to be done. So that's a clearly different level of challenge. So what we have done in Zaria is to identify institutions that are already accredited by the National Universities Commission, that whose programs, corresponding program has been approved by the NUC. And we are entering MOUs with these institutions, so that if I have students in the south part of this country, when it's time for their practicals, they don't have to come to Zaria. They simply go to that university. We engage a teacher there as a tutor, and they go there and have all their practicals. So even when we get to the science-based courses, you don't have to come over. As we said, it's a completely different thing that we're trying to do in education. Well, as for the technicalities, I think when we go to the specials, I will talk about the technicals as it affects, our bandwidth, the server system, etc. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, the other one, the one before this, the assessment and examinations. Okay, evaluation and assessment. Now, by and large, 40% of your assessment of the assessment is based on assignments that you'll be writing. So the semester exam is essentially going to be by CBT. And what we've also done in this context is that we are having an MOU with an institution that is closest to the resource center, which also has a CBT facility. So when it is time for your examinations, you don't come to Zaria. You simply go to that place and write your examinations. Once you're through with your examinations, we'll get the results posted to us in Zaria. The only reason why you have to come to Zaria is for your convocation. Every other service, we will deliver it to you right there in your bedroom. We'll make sure we do that. And we tend to have some challenges with examinations in distance education, especially the online program. The traditional thing used to be you can take your examinations online and things like that. But this has essentially been abused. You are not sure if the person taking the exam is the person you are giving your certificate to. So we've decided to secure our examination so that we are sure that the individual who worked for it, the individual who registered for that course, is the person we are giving the degree to. So when you come to register as an MBA student, we are going to take your fingerprint. So biometric is one thing we're going to do. So when you come for our exams, you put your finger over there, it identifies you, will let you in to write that examination. So only those registered for that course will be the ones taking the examination. So that way, impersonation is brought down to a zero. So if you don't have credibility on your exams, the certificate itself has been brought to question. So we want to be certain that the individuals who registered, who took the course, are the ones actually writing the examination. Well, as we said, these are the technicalities about the, I think the IT guys over there will understand that this is a system that is very stable, that is adequate, that allows us to deliver audio, allows us to deliver videos, as well as whatever platform it is we want to instruct our students in. This is stable and allows us to do that. Now we talked about resource centers. As we said, our resource centers are supposed to be extensions of the distance learning center that will be able to take some secondary service to where you are, to as close as possible to where you are. So our intention is to have a resource center in each of the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. So that if you happen to be in that geopolitical zone, all you need to do is walk over to that resource center rather than having to come over to Zaria. In each of our resource centers, we're going to have a CBT facility, we're going to have common rooms, we're going to have an e-library, we're going to have offices. So we'll have all the basic things that a student needs to support himself or herself. So the resource center should be able to cater for all your needs. The resource center will enter the necessary MOUs with institutions for the purpose of your practical, for the purpose of your CBT examinations, etc., etc. So that resource center essentially is all that you need to interact with. And of course, there will be provisions over there that will make it very comfortable for students to come and work in groups in the resource center. We'll also provide adequate bandwidth in the resource center so that if you're having challenges downloading some material, you are free to come over to the resource center, where there will be the bandwidth that will allow you to do that, so that you can download videos and similar things. Of course, not bandwidth on musicals and other things, but bandwidth on your course material. So, let's move to the next. Now, what are we bringing on the table? What's special about APU, distance learning, and things like that? First, we said our program, especially the MBA now, which is our flagship, which we intend to start off with. The MBA forms are on sale at the moment. And we're hoping that by October, the first week of October, we're going to deploy using all of these facilities that we mentioned. But we said, this is a very flexible system. I've said something about the duration of study, that you determine how long you want to stay. Optional registration, study examination venues. Optional registration, you register when you like, and wherever you like. You don't have to come to Zaria for your registration. You simply go to any of the resource centers and do your registration there. You pay your fee over there. You study, you go. You go to the resource center for the purpose of your examination. You don't have a choice. If you want to write your exam this year at Port Harcourt, it's okay. If by next year you happen to be transferred to Sokoto, it's okay. You don't have to go back to Port Harcourt to write your examinations. You simply write it over there, wherever you happen to be. So you have that flexibility in a choice of where you write your exams. And even when you write your examination, it's something that you have a choice to. Every semester examination is going to be repeated within 30 days. So if at the time of the examination, you probably have one constraint or the other, or you lost somebody, so you are not in the mood to write an examination, you just let us know that, look, I'm not in a position to write the examination. It's going to be floated again in 30 days, and you're going to write that examination. The APU model allows you to fast-track your learning experience, and we said it. You can take as many courses as you have the time to. Consequently, you will be able to grab it. But we should know that the National Universities Commission has indicated that you cannot get a master's degree in less than 18 months. So that is the minimum period. a robust learning support. We talked about the telephone, email, Skype, videos, video conferencing, e-library, etc. Flexible registration and examination times and venue, I've talked about that. Varied learning platforms, we've talked about that. Learning from diverse and experienced international acclaimed tutors. No stress, no discrimination. At the end of your study, you are not going to receive a certificate that says Distance Learning Center. No. You are going to receive a certificate that says Ahmadu Bello University, just like every student who studied at campus. Okay? A flexible fee regime. If you have the money to pay, the MBA program is 350,000. If you have your 350,000, you pay. It allows you the 2-year period if you are covered. Okay? But if perchance you are constrained financially and you cannot, you could decide to pay half in the first year and then half in the second year. And if you still have constraints, and that isn't even possible, we have already made an arrangement with our bankers. Our bankers can give you money to go and pay your school fees, and then you can work out how you're going to pay back your bankers, the bankers later. So we've taken care of all of that. Secure and stable online activities. Well, we know the system in this country. Power. We keep complaining of power, we keep complaining of all manners of things. So what we have done is that our primary delivery is hosted on a portal that is hosted somewhere in the United States. We want a server system that 24/7 will never get done. We've been on that system for several months. We've never had even 1 second of downtime. Now, that is what the Ahmadu Bello University considers good enough for the delivery of our distance learning programs. Well, secure academic calendar. One of the distance learning platform, never be afraid of strikes. There are no strikes. Even if all of us decide to down tools, you already have your course materials. There is a study guide on your course material that says, week 1, read study session 1, do this assignment. Week 2, read study session 2, do this assignment. Whether we are there or not, you are guided throughout. So strikes or no strikes, in 13 weeks you complete a semester. In fact, our academic calendar for the next 3 sessions has already been approved. That is how stable the distance learning program is. Well, I've talked about the optional on-campus tutorial, which I said we're going to be, so you can watch it from wherever you are. Capacity building via specialized electives. Okay, let me say 1 or 2 things about it. On campus, we've been talking a lot about, we say, our youth are the leaders of tomorrow. We also say our graduates should be job creators and not job seekers. But realistically, what do we do to achieve this? Practically nothing. On the distance learning platform, we decided to do the talk. We decided to do something about this. So for our postgraduate students, those who are coming on the MBA platform will be the first to experience this. We have developed a program, an elective course we call Motivational Leadership. The motivational leadership basically is to develop leadership in people, because we believe as postgraduate students, that is where you should be aspiring to, leadership. And what is this motivational leadership? It is a 3-part course. The first part of this is that we identified some courses that are taught to students in public administration and some of these programs that prepare them for leadership. So irrespective of your discipline, if you are a postgraduate student under the distance learning platform, you are going to offer those courses. You cannot live in this country without understanding how Nigerian government works. So irrespective of your discipline, you offer these courses in public administration. The second component of this is that we also developed some courses, to back up, the existing courses on campus. And then there is also a reading component to this, where every student is expected to read a minimum of 30 books, biographies of successful world leaders, people who have changed their world, people who have really moved this planet. We want to change your mentality, your thinking, so that you appreciate the fact that these people who have moved the world are not different from you and I. Some of them even have more modest backgrounds than you do, yet they are able to achieve what they've achieved. And that, see, if they can, so can you. We want you to think that way. So we teach you the theories, and we get you to start thinking like them. The idea is that when you graduate with a master's or a PhD program, you should start thinking like a leader. You should believe in yourself that you also have what it takes to lead. So that if by chance you happen to be in a leadership position, we will have prepared you for it. And you are more likely to make a success of it. For the undergraduate students, we believe at this stage, survival is the most important thing. When they get out of the university system, they should be able to survive out there. We developed another elective that we call business skill acquisition. And this is a 4-part course. The first part of this is that, irrespective of your discipline, we have identified courses that are taught to BSc Business Administration students that are largely practical, not too theoretical. So irrespective of your undergraduate discipline, you will offer this selected one course per semester that is taught to students in business administration. Being in the distance learning afforded me an opportunity to see what they teach students in business administration. And I told myself, I think I should have gone for business administration right from the start. Okay? But we realized that if you want your students to survive out there, believe me, they need some of those basic information. So you are going to offer one course per semester to, these are courses already taught to students in business administration. We want to give you the theoretical basis for business, but the theories are not enough. We must also build the practical skill in you. Consequently, any student on the distance learning platform will be expected to put 8 hours every week for the duration of his or her stay with us in a corresponding industry. You go to an NGO, you go to an industry, depending on your discipline, you identify an organization that is relevant to that discipline, and you put in 8 hours with them for the duration of your stay. So an average undergraduate student will spend about 4 years with us. So if you put in 8 hours every week for 4 years, you will have picked all the practical skills required in that practice. Now you already have the theories, because we taught you. You now have the practical skill. The next is we get you to start thinking like a business person. We've downloaded a lot of free books written by the Dangotes and people like that. Successful world entrepreneurs. You are also expected to read one book every month. When you read one book, he's a successful person. When you read 5, it starts impacting on you. When you read 10, 20 books, you start thinking like that business person. So when you read 40, 50 books, you are already in the mood to get out of school and make it work. We want every student, undergraduate student that goes through the distance learning platform to be ready to face the challenges and make it work even before he or she graduates. That is what we're trying to do. Well, I think I've taken too much time. But I've just given you an overview of what we're trying to do in Zaria and what the American University is set out to achieve. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well, in terms of acquiring education in the old format, the problem is huge, formidable. As you've heard, a lot of them have to take JAM over and over and over again, not because they're not qualified, not because the scores are low, but because the schools cannot take them. If ABU got 49,000 students sent to them, and they can only safely admit 5,000, that tells us we have a very big problem in our hands. And I've always said that the level of development of any nation is inextricably linked to the level of education of her people. So if we're leaving about 1 million or 2 million young people out there, they don't have jobs, they don't have access to university education or any form of advanced training, then we're sitting on a keg of gunpowder. And so this is a big problem that e-learning is helping us to take care of. You can see from the data that India, China, these are countries that are similar to us because they're populous, and they have taken e-learning as the solution to moving their countries forward. And we cannot but do that as a nation.
All protocols observed, but I want to just personally thank the DVC administration for being here. Professor Hassan, I was just whispering to Professor Oshika that you're a very good salesman. You did a good job of selling that. Thank you very much. I feel like going back to enroll for another MBA. I also want to recognize the director of the Directorate of University Advancement, the director the Dean of Faculty of Administration, all the senior ABU officials here present, all protocols duly observed. Prof has done the job for me, so I'm just going to try and write a bit on it. But I want to start with the slide that I actually wanted to end with, because the way he landed it, it just blew it in my mind. That slide entered this morning. And what is the message? Survival is not about strength. It is about adaptability. For those of us who watch animations, videos, and if you follow history, sometimes on this planet, there has been very big, giant dinosaurs. Yes? If you look at the pictures, big jaws, big feet, very strong. But where are they today? Extinct. They're extinct. The things that survive are the things that can adapt. And that is really the message that ABU is sending out to the world today. And I stand here to represent the Group Managing Director of the Venture Garden Group, of which EduTech is one of the companies, Mr. Bumiaki Emiju, who should have been here, but is currently out of the country. And also, I'm standing on the work of so many hours and many months that the team led by Professor Abiola Awoshika. It's very interesting that this journey that you are announcing today started about 4 years ago. So this is not something that was done in a rush. It's not a half-baked solution. It's taking us 4 years, putting together the solution, the content, the accreditation, the deployment to get here. So the message really is, if you don't change, you get change. And I want to start quickly by showing you something that happened earlier on in the year that I saw. Earlier on in the year, the Center for World University Rankings released the rankings of universities in the world. And they were only able to publish the first 1,000 globally. How many do you think were from Nigeria? None. But there were countries that made it to the list from Africa. Egypt had 4 universities. Egypt. What's going on in Egypt right now? When you hear Egypt in the world news, what comes to your mind? Crisis, war, anarchy. They had 4 universities in the top 1,000 list of universities in the world. Nigeria does not even have 1. What were the variables that they used in rating? Quality of education, alumni deployment, quality of faculty, publications, influence, citations, broad impact, patents. How can you achieve this unless we follow the way ABU is putting forward? Even for the first year, we have seen somebody from Chad, you said, sir, and then from India. We have been told that this program will afford Nigerians the opportunity of leading to thought leaders across the world who will periodically dial in through our telepresence solution and speak directly to the students. We are saying now that instead of having just a fraction of the students admitted year on year and sitting on a keg of gunpowder about to explode, we can expand capacity without minimizing quality. I'm an accountant by training. By the grace of God, I'm a fellow of the Institute of Accountants of Nigeria. If you know what it is to take that exam or get to that level, you know how hard it is. 10 years ago, I took my first course in e-learning. About 10 years ago. It was for Six Sigma. I took it from a university in the US. I never traveled. I've never met any of my professors face to face. But guess what? The things that I learned in that program, I remember better, I remember clearer than anything I've done in accounting for the last 20 years I've been working in it. It stays. Because he didn't mention something. I can pause and rewind. So maybe I'm distracted, something I didn't hear very well. If a lecturer is sitting in the campuses right now, even if you're able to get inside the hall, which is a big battle sometimes, even if you're able to sit in front where you can hear, another tough battle, even if you can see and the lecturer decide to write something. I've been in classes where the lecturer will never touch the chalk or the whatever they're using to write. It just comes and talks and goes. Even if you are there, very rarely can you say, please repeat what you said. We are saying with this solution, you can play, so it means I can say, okay, lecturer, shut up, stay there. I'm coming. You go, and here, continue. What were you saying before? And then you rewind. So you can hear a lecture, and that, I can never forget what I did in Six Sigma Lean, Six Sigma Green. All the learning I have, I can relate to because you can play it over and over and over until what happens, it registers. But you know the difference again. When the students are taking the quizzes, there is an intelligence behind it that helps you see where they are mixing it. As an example, 100 students take a particular course, and you notice that this particular topic, they are always scoring very low marks. What is that telling the school? This topic is not clear. So what happens? During those tutorials, those video conferencing, the lecturer already knows where are the problem points and he can speak to it, and the next run of that program, what happens to the content? He gets enriched. The intelligence you get as the school, the capacity you get as the student is unparalleled. And that is why we are saying, unless we want the academic system to go extinct in Nigeria, this is no longer an option. I will not bore you with the detail. Prof has done good justice to that. That's why I'm speaking from my mind, because a lot of them want to talk about admission ratio. He even went specific to the ratio that ABU is able to accommodate. It's the same, just about 3%. And every year it gets compounded. And to start a university is a lot of work. And the truth of the matter is, for God's sake, for how long are we going to sit in the old system, do the same things the same way, and think that one day we will wake up and find a different result? It doesn't happen. If you want a new result, what do? You do something different. That is what ABU is launching today. So I will skip all these statistics, but I want to go to this case study. And some of you have heard this news this week. Yahoo was acquired by Verizon Network for less than $5 billion, about 4.8. For those who are old enough, my father's here, some of us who joined the internet age very early. At some point when the www movement started, Yahoo was the prize item. How many of you still use the Yahoo email address here today? At some point, the only email service that existed was what? Yahoo. If you don't have a Yahoo email address, you are not existing. Yes? At that time, Yahoo at some point had a valuation close to $200 billion. About 2000, that's what I'm talking about, 16 years ago. Today, this week, Verizon bought for less than $5 billion. Twice. In fact, the story, I'm not sure. The story has it that when Google was launched, the boys that launched Google went to Yahoo and say, buy us for $1 million so I can concentrate on our study. They were MBA students, MBA. And they said, no, this is not where it's going. Twice they had the opportunity of buying Google, they refused. 5 years ago, Microsoft wanted to buy this same Yahoo for about $50 billion. They refused to sell. 5 years later, the story is what it is. This is a message we need to get to the world. That's why this press conference is holding. Let me digress a bit. When the educational system does not work in any country, who pays for it? Is it just the students? Their parents? The school? Tell me one country that you call developed today, or that you say is on its way to developing, that does not have a functional, vibrant, and progressive academic environment. Show me one. Every single development rises on the back of a successful and forward-looking academic environment. This is not about commerce. This is not about money. This is not about revenue for the school. It's about if we care about Commonwealth, if we care about our Commonwealth in Nigeria, and I see many people my age and younger, if you really care about the world in which your children will live, if you care about the world in which you will retire, then you understand why this is serious business. Because you move it away from just getting certificate to transferring knowledge. And that knowledge comes, it's like a multiplier. The student here has a lecturer. How many people know that Tiger Woods has a coach? Tiger Woods. He has a coach. He plays golf. He has a coach. Have you ever heard about his name? No. But what does that mean? Somebody puts something in him and he multiplies it and takes it to a new level. That is the whole essence of learning. You can get good quality education out through this ABU, MBA. You put it out there. The students in their various offices take it in a qualitative manner. What do they do to it? They multiply it, put it in industries, put it in companies, put it in ideas, put it in initiatives. They multiply it. What happens to the economy? It grows. Businesses survive. New businesses start. Existing businesses thrive. All on the back of a lecturer who has given the seed, the student builds the soil, germinates it, multiplies it, and everybody gets better. This is serious business. If that's taking 4 years to get here, this is not a joke. I'll take one more before I stop. You know about Nokia. 2001, when GSM came into the country, for those who are old, you know that can remember, which phones were the prime phones that you were buying? If it wasn't Nokia, it wasn't the phone. You buy Sejen, people will laugh. You buy Motorola, people will laugh. At some point, it became, all sorts of phones came. Today, are you not shocked that Nokia has less than 5% of the market? In fact, that name is dead. That name, brand name, is extinct. It's been acquired. It is not a joke. If you don't change, you get changed. I was part of a telecom company in this country when they wanted to bring BlackBerry to Nigeria. They were posting, for about 2 years, they were chasing BlackBerry to come and sign up. It wasn't free, They were giving all sorts of conditions. They will send emails, they will not answer. We will beg and beg. Who can believe that from a dominant position in the mobile app, in the office, what they call PDA, personal digital assistant market, BlackBerry can now have like 10% of the market? That today, WhatsApp. At that time, if you don't have a BlackBerry messenger, you are not in vogue. You are not current. When last did anybody use BlackBerry messenger as a primary chat now? WhatsApp, how many years ago, has come and has completely changed the market. The meaning is you cannot keep doing the same thing the same way and hope one day you wake up and find a different result. That is what ABU MBA is all about. And therefore, wherever you are, whatever you do, whoever you are, let the world know. Let the world know that ABU MBA is here. It's not cheap. And when I say cheap, it's not inferior. It's not a poorly cooked solution. It is something that is designed to make a difference. And if you are in doubt, please be convinced. Go to the next slide. Where are we going? Go to the next slide. If you look at what's going on in the world, you notice that we have good companies to follow. When you think of the technology world today, which country comes to your mind? It's India. The CEO of Microsoft is India. The top guys in Silicon Valley are all from India. 55% of of their students are on e-learning. When you think of China, what comes to your mind? The manufacturing engine of the world. China manufactures for the whole world. Don't be deceived when we come here and we say chinko, chinko. It is the same chinkos that manufacture for the American market. The only reason why we are getting what we are getting is because our society allows the rubbish things to come in. Chinese products are very, very good products. They manufacture, they are the biggest manufacturer for everybody in the world. We are telling you today that over 52% of their students are on e-learning. If it does not work, you will not have that number growing. We are not just throwing something out in the wind. We can see footprints and we are ready to follow. Malaysia has 41%. All right, so it is not just a random guess that we are doing. We've seen it proven, we've seen it work, and we are saying it's time to get off our bum, get on our feet, and start running. And we need everybody to do what they need to do to help us to get there. So I don't want to repeat what Prof has said. He has gone through the solution. It is scalable. It is consistent. I don't want to repeat that because he's done a very, very good job of that. You also know that what we are saying, just to re-emphasize, is that for the e-learning, ABU e-learning, the amount of data you need is very small. We are not making the solution dependent on, MTN is not good here, this alert is not good here. You begin to climb the tree and go on top of the tower to find network. 98% of what you need come preloaded on the tablet. The videos are there. The audios are there. PowerPoint presentation is there. Loaded. You are not trying to download. The minimal data you need is just like you are sending chat or sending email to see what quiz you have, and when you have done, a small file attachment, upload it back. You are not downloading or uploading heavy files. Very, very small. That's very important. In addition to the power of the tablet, we have also provided you with an optional power bank that can charge your tablet at least twice over. Meaning that if you charge your tablet and you charge the power bank, if this gives you 9 hours, it's actually 9 by 3 that you have. You have 27 hours of battery life before you require the next charge. This is a solution that has been validated for the African environment. We know we have power problem. We are trying to minimize your demand, the dependency on it. We know there are bandwidth problems. We are trying to minimize dependency on it. That is the only additional thing I want to add. In addition to the fact that, apart from the WhatsApp, we are also making it possible that for those who choose, there can be an optional mobile data provided that can also come with an optional closed user group where, beyond just chatting, everybody on that group, you can actually grab your phone and call a colleague and say, do you understand this course? For free. Because it comes preloaded with a CUG. If you know what CUG is, exactly the same thing. There is a CUG for the program where, for a flat fee that's already taken care of every month, you can talk to one another beyond just chatting or waiting for the interactive session with your tutors and your lecturer. So, as I started, I wanted to end. Please show the second to the last slide where you have the web address. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yes, stop here. Please, everybody, I beg you to please take note of this website. This is a website that is revolutionizing the delivery of education in the Nigerian environment. I'm not sure we're up to 50 here right now, but we are starting a movement that when the story gets told, there will be a reference to this date. That on this date, there was a formal launch of a new movement in the delivery of academics, of education in Nigeria, that will move the country forward in leaps and bounds in a manner that is unexpected, unprecedented. Please take note of this. Let it very clear in your communication. Everything we've said, everything we are going to say is available when you come here. www.abutlc.edu.ng. And I start and I end the way I started. Survival is about adaptation. It is not about strength. ABU is here with this exciting blended learning MBA. Let's make it work, not just for the school, not just for the student, but for our Commonwealth as a country.
Fancy in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerian universities are striving to use e-learning on the on-campus environment. However, the difference is that using e-learning can be deployed both on campus as well as in distance education. Now, some universities have made, or various universities actually are attempting e-learning, but the level of achievement differs with institutions. Some universities have gone pretty far, some are just at the infancy as far as that is concerned. We in the Ahmadu Bello University want to adopt e-learning both for our on-campus environment as well as for distance education. What we are talking about today, or what we talk about today, essentially is e-learning for the purpose of distance education. And as far as we are concerned in the Ahmadu Bello University, just like every other university, we're just starting. It's still in its infancy relative to universities around the world, but we believe that with the determination that soon we'll be right at the heat of it, we'll be right in the middle of it.
I'm not going to repeat what my director has excellently said and added by Mr. Makun, but I'm going to simply assure each and every one of you that this is a program that has the approval of the National Universities Commission and also the Ahmadu Bello University Senate area and the Ahmadu Bello University Governing Council. So it's a program that certainly, if we enroll on, you are sure you are definitely covered statutorily. When actually my director is mentioning the technology, the necessity of moving forward, I just remembered about 40 years ago, as a law student, every day after the day's lecture, the cases that were cited by our lecturers, we have to go back to the library and try to look at each case and how difficult it was in PKL. We have to queue, not only the queuing, as he was rightly saying, sometimes we get the case book, you open the case book, the case is not there. Somebody has removed it. It's so frustrating, really. Now, these things is in at least on the tip of your fingertips. You can read them anywhere. You can find them, they're available all over. So things made easy. This shows that knowledge is dynamic. And definitely you refuse to move with time, then you are in trouble. There were those days earlier when a single book will come to the whole community. And that book will be copied by hand. It will move from one person to another. Even during our time, I remember that we did the same on a book on agency. I still recall. We managed to get one, and we keep copying it and going around by hand, really, by hand. Because the book is not available, was not available at that time. So this kind of e-learning certainly is an opportunity that we have all the books. Now we have the e-library. For those of us that you go into the cases are there, you have a clear an application that whatever case you are looking for, You just go there and you get the case. So things made easy. And that is exactly what Ahmadu Bello University is definitely planning to give. What we are offering now, we are starting with the MBA, and we plan to go into the undergraduates program next year, that is 2017 and 2018 session, inshallah, God willing. But above all, I want to assure everybody that certainly this is a program that has the mandate of our Senate, of our Council, and above all of the NUC, National Universities Commission. So you are safe if you register with us in this program. Thank you very much.
Well, for it to have taken 4 years says that it wasn't a straightforward journey at all. And there were many challenges in different fronts. The first has to do with the fact that this technology is not a technology we are bringing from anywhere. We looked at our experiences because many facilitators and teachers that we have, all our experiences in delivery, we brought it together and we tried to do something honed, something that speaks to all the challenges that exist in Africa and emerging market. So challenges of bandwidth, of internet, of power, and also of the accent of the teacher, just to be sure that everybody can get it. Then the major hurdle had to do with the content currently exists in traditional form. The lecturers don't even write notes. Now you have to go through that change management of getting them to sit down and prepare for a whole semester, even before the semester starts. That's a lot of change. Then there is the process of recording. There's a technology for recording, and then there is also the accreditation process. This is new in Nigeria, and obviously NUC is concerned about ensuring that quality is maintained. So getting the approval through NUC has been a very tough battle, but we are glad that finally we have that now, and everything together, the students is going to have a very good experience.
Welcome to such a wonderful day. If you could look inside of me, you would see my heart making cartwheels. A horse could, drive clear through, because I live for days like this. I'd like to say thank you to the members of the high table and the higher table, gentlemen and ladies of the press, my colleagues from VGG, Agitech, all of you that have made today possible. I have to say this, I have never worked with anyone as dynamic as the two people that spoke to you here today. Professor Hassan, he blows me away all the time. And Mr. Babatokwe Makun, I was trying to describe him to someone last week and I couldn't find the words, because they are just two dynamic people that God has brought our way. My motto in life is to make education available to as many people as possible. I put it as transforming lives, one student at a time. And that was what got me into this field. I am an MBA holder, a DBA holder. My doctorate is in business administration, and my major is actually finance and economics. But I found myself in education because I was always looking for ways to help my students and to help more of them to understand whatever topic I was trying to communicate. And my university in the US realized that I was vastly interested, and so they would introduce me to all sorts of technology that would allow me to do it. And so over the years, I have picked up so much about e-learning that I am now able to come back to Nigeria and make use of it. There's an angle to this that we have not actually touched upon, and I would like to touch on it very quickly before we go to the demonstration. It's actually the faculty side of it. The teachers, those who would go through these programs, get your MBA, get a PhD, become a lecturer, and then come time to retire, you don't have to just go home and sit there. Now you can teach online. I teach for major universities in the US, Europe, and the UK. Even now, as I speak, my students are live and direct. I get their information on my phones. And I have people in Nigeria who are downloading assignments, uploading assignments, answering emails, doing all sorts of things, even as I stand before you today. And they're not, little Kokamama universities either. They're state universities, large private universities, USW in the UK, all of them. And so this is an opportunity for us, even as lecturers, to continue to impart knowledge. And so when we were doing this work, I gathered all the information that I had gained, put it all together from all of the different universities, and God planted me in the midst of all these young, techie guys, and we were able to, jointly with the universities, put together what you're about to see in just a few minutes. When you watch the demo, we're going to actually pass around a live tab so that you can, they say the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So you can actually hold one in your hands and play with it. So I'm going to ask Ramon to please start the demo right now.
Look at what you... Okay, yeah. No audio.
Increase the volume.
You should have speaker.
Audio cable.
You should have
Put
speaker.
microphone there.
Well, I was trying to not have to do this, but I have to. So basically, this is the mobile version. Professor Hassan was talking about the M learning. So this is a learning. And you're in the classroom already. This hypothetical student has two courses that she's registered for, BUAD 839 and BUAD 802. And you have a dashboard, you can get your announcements, opportunities for a chat, you get a forum, the professor would post some topics, and you would have some intellectual conversations within the platform. And so when you go to your courses, if you're taking 2, you're taking 5, those courses will be displayed under that tab. Now you click on one and you're inside that particular course. It's like being in the classroom with a lecturer. They've left you an introduction. Your introductory note will be there. They introduce themselves, introduce the course, tell you what you will be encountering, how many hours they expect that you're going to study. All the information that they want to give you will be in that section. So if you click on that, it brings up the PowerPoint slides to your course, and you can read through. What we also have done is we have audio recordings, so if you're not able to see but you want to get what's on it, just use the audio version and you can listen to it. So you're looking at one of the videos. Now you can also take quizzes on this platform. The lecturer will put the quiz up there. It will be automatically graded, and when you're done, you immediately know how well or how poorly you've done, and your scores will be posted on the system so that you can go into the grade book within the LMS and find out how well you've done. Assignments also are posted on there. You download or follow the instruction, write your paper, bring it back to the platform, upload your paper, and the professor will now come on, download it, grade it, put your marks on it, and post it back to you with comments so that you know how to improve on your work. Now the discussion forum is just like the classroom. For example, if a lecturer comes in and says, what do you people think about the election going on in the United States right now and how it might impact what we are doing in Nigeria? They post it on the forum. You start talking by writing your opinion or your understanding of what's going on. Others will critique what you just said or add to it or give additional information. So it's just like having a conversation or a discussion in the classroom, but this time it's virtual. And you all don't have to be there at the same time. You post your reaction, the others come back another time and post their reaction. And you know, just like when you post on Facebook or any of the other media. Then the announcements are for when the lecturer has, or the school or the university have information for you. They will post it under announcement. We're typically encouraged to post at least one announcement a week so that we can encourage the students and help them know that there's somebody still on the other side of this virtual classroom that's still interested in you. And when someone posts something and you have the opportunity to respond, and this is just how you would do that. Post your reactions immediately. This shows a list of all the quizzes that are available in the system. A lot of times the quizzes are timed. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes you can only take them once. Other times they give you an opportunity to take them several times because they're trying to teach you something. So a lot of settings that would make it dynamic. This is your information as a student. You can post any picture that you like. Yours, your daughter, and just so people will have fun looking at your profile. That's what we're going to show you for this morning. Also realize that the same or even a deeper version is available on the web. So you left home without your tab, but you have internet access. You can go to the classroom on the website, and you should be able to do exactly the same thing as we have shown you here. So we will go into the physical touch and feel session, and then we can ask questions later on.
So we are blocking the shot. This side, I'm not got it.
As that is going on, we can now entertain a few questions, please. You are free to ask questions. You just raise your hand up and we can now... yes, please.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Austin. I joined the Metu CMA LMM. I report for the Abuja Imperial newspaper. Sir, after listening to Professor Hassan, one is tempted not to say any other thing because of the eloquence in that presentation. And Professor Hassan, I have just one question to ask you. At the end of every studies, before you are awarded degree, in your certificate is always stated, I will find you worthy, both in character and in learning, to present this to you. And the word I came first is character, before learning. So I just want to know, what is the place of character in your blended learning model? Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sarah, it's good to see you once again. Great to have you side. And what they say, ABU, my name is Rabina Azaki, I'm alumni of this great institution. When they say ABU is ahead of you, I think they have further strengthened that statement over and over again. Thank you for this super good innovation. But one of the issues I think that we just raised, for masters, people's character have already been formed, so we need to add to that. But for under the undergraduate scheme, what kind of undergraduate are we going to be producing? Internet graduates, computer graduates with no character? When people ask you, which school did you graduate from? And you say ABU, and you say they can see that in you. You're radical. That's what the audience and Abu said. But we are very proud of our radicals with integrity, radicals with pride, and radicals with some sense of decency. I hope this program will not take that away. Now, you did say, this is the MBA. When will the other master's course follow suit? And then 350,000 with an economy that is already going down. Isn't it that too much expensive? I know, because you said you can do it with ease. No lecturer needs to transfer himself to the classroom. You sit in your comfort and deliver all your lectures, and the student is upset. So why are you giving us a bid of 350,000? Now my last question is that it's very good to come here, paint a very rosy, a very fantastic picture. But sustainability is always the problem. Before you know it, 1 year, 2 years into the program, you now have challenges of people saying the broadband is this, we cannot get access to this information and all that. And then who does the screening of the content? The content as far as courses are concerned. Is it just going to be anything dumped on the website? Who are the people who screen these courses and make sure that it falls in? Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Good afternoon, all. My name is Alex Machikata. I'm alumnus of ABU Zaire. When you were explaining it, two pictures actually came to my mind. The first is about the government trying to set the recruiting. So, the marketing strategy you use is so excellent. Thank
you so much for that. And secondly, it's not for a pastor who's trying to, get his, conduct and all that. You can actually tell some to people in this world. I have two questions. Number one, can the existing students be switch over to this distance learning program? And then secondly, does the 250,000 US school fees also cover for the period time? 350. Sorry. Does it also cover for the period time and all the materials inside? Thank you.
Are you okay? That is another question. Maybe the last one, please. Thank you.
My name is Amadina. I just want to find out
We're back in the mic.
Okay, the code mentioned that you can determine how long your course will last. I want to understand how does that work? Like we have in the conventional learning system, maybe you have carryover and all that, and for that reason the number of years you're supposed to spend in school is extended. How does this work?
I think virtually all the questions centered on me. So let me see what I can make out of it. The first issue that was raised actually has to do with character and learning. I think the fundamental thing here is that we need to realize that character is not simply a function of how the student socially interacts on campus. It is largely character related to your interaction with your classmates, your interaction with your teachers, your discipline, which is even more important here, because a distance learner has to be a lot more disciplined than a conventional student. A conventional student is told you must be in class by 8 o'clock. If it doesn't go there, the teacher is there to scold him or somebody else. A distance learner must be able to discipline himself or herself to know that I must complete 2 hours every day. Now, even a distance learner has courses to go to the resource center. He interacts with the staff in the resource center. He interacts with his own group mates because we have students in groups, because there are some assignments that have to be done in groups. He participates in examinations. So there are so many interactions that we still have with that student, that if that student's character falls short, we will be able to pick that up as well. So the issue of you being found worthy in character and learning applies even to a distance learning. And if you read the process of your study, you get entangled with some kind of problem. And you get to know that you're not participating in the classes probably because you've been jailed, or you're in the police cell, or some other reason. We'll try to find out why. And if in our judgment, you fall short of the minimum standard of the Ahmadu Bello University, we have a right to withdraw you and deny you that certificate. So it is important to us that our distance learners must also be found worthy in character and learning. President Marina also talked about other PG programs. Now the plan is this. Bearing approval from the National Universities Commission, because before we can commence the delivery of any program, the National Universities Commission has to approve it. Now, we are already working towards, and hopefully within the next few weeks, we shall be putting in a request for the programs we intend to float in 2017-2018 session to the National Universities Commission. And these are a total of 13 programs. The PG programs amongst these are the postgraduate, well, maybe this will apply to some of the journalists here. The British Council is financing a program that it intends to deploy on our distance learning platform, which is the postgraduate diploma in sensitive conflict reporting for practicing journalists. The British Council is working on that program, and the jointly we intend to float that program. It's one of the programs we are proposing for 2017/2018. The other is the MIAD program. The MIAD is the Masters in International Affairs and Diplomacy for the domiciled now in the Department of Political Science. That
that is also one of the programs slated for 2017. The Masters in Public Health with the Department of Community Medicine is also another program slated for 2017-2018. Now, I will go into these, but there are other special programs that we are developing, and maybe I wouldn't want to let it out here because it's still on the drawing board, and certain government agencies that need to be consulted over these programs have not yet been consulted. So, I mean, so please, and then the postgraduate diploma in education. We know that NUC has been happy that all teachers, all lecturers should obtain some kind of qualification in education. Now, for us to go back to the classroom and do that has become the head of the problem. But we believe that being able to deploy these via distance education, most lecturers in Nigeria will be able to acquire some education qualification, which will now make them actually professional teachers. Okay? So, and as for the undergraduate programs, there are 6 undergraduate programs which hopefully will be able to deploy by next year. We have the BSc, Business Administration, Public Administration, International Relations, Political Science, Sociology, as well as Mass Communication. Now, these are the totality of the courses we are contemplating 2017-2018. But as I said, we are going to put a request to the National Universities Commission. The NUC will insist on certain fundamentals. One of the fundamentals is that they must see this course material. So before an approval is given to you, you must present all the course materials, and NUC has to be satisfied that you have everything that you need to teach the student before you are given an approval. So that you don't get an approval and you get stuck midway through. Okay? So, but that is the rundown of what we intend to do in 2017-2018. We are just starting with the MBA program, it's the flagship. But every year we are going to bring in 10 to 20 programs on board and continue moving over the next 5 years. The 350,000, is it not too high considering the present economy? What I always say is that on the average, it will take you probably about 3 years to go through the program on campus. You pay about 150,000 as your school fee. In 3 years, you will have paid 450,000. That's already more expensive than what we are charging you. Secondly, every Friday, you have to travel to Zaire from wherever you are. Then you have to look for a resort where you spend the night on Friday and probably on Saturday nights. And then you transport yourself back. We are not talking about the time, the man-hour that's going to cost you going up and down. We are not talking about the risk factor in traveling every weekend over a 2 to 3 year period. When you quantify all of this in Naira and Kobotan, believe me, this is chicken change. And at the same time, again, we also took the liberty to look at a similar program that is hosted in the UK. And we realize that the minimum amount at the current exchange rate that you require to undertake a similar study is never less than 5 million naira. Now, we are giving you the same stuff for 350,000. I don't think that is no good. That's the cheapest you can ever get. Yeah. And not just that, even in Nigeria, let's not go too far. There are areas or places where you pay $1 million to get an MBA. Yes. So what we're doing in APU, believe you me, is a piece of it. The cheapest you can ever find. So that boils down to the second question on a related question that says, does it include the tablet and other things? No. Or why are we charging this high? If the technology you have to put in, if you come to the resource center, the distance learning center in Zaire, and you see what we have to put on ground to get an approval. Video conferencing facilities, a minimum of the 500 capacity CPT center, an e-library, all of that will have to be in place. And then you are going to replicate that in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. Imagine the amount of money you have to put into that. And distance learning centers, unlike the conventional system on campus, are not supported by government or even a code. And universities have been told that distance learning centers should not be on their budget line. So it is for this that you will sustain and improve the distance learning center. So believe you me, this is a no charge at all. The sustainability of the program. Well, the truth is that you cannot guarantee anything over an indefinite period of time. But the reality for now is that we believe that as long as the Ahmadu University is there, this program is here to stay. If for any reason it goes, that is the only time I can say maybe this program may go. The screening of content. Well, I always say, somebody did ask me that our students going to get the same quality stuff that our students on campus get. And I told the person that no, our students are not going to get the same quality thing that students on campus get.
they are going to get a material that is far better than what students on campus get. And why do I say that? First, I've been a lecturer for the past 25 years. If I go to class, I give my students what I know, what I have. I can't give what I don't have. Now, if you approach me and you tell me that, Hassan, put down what you have, I want to put it online. The mere fact that I know it's going to be put online and everybody is going to see it and my reputation is going to be at stake. I am not going to give you what I know. I will go back and research further and give you something far more than what I know. So right from the beginning, the distance learner already has a better material than what the student on campus has. Now, after the student has put together that material, it goes through the next stage. We have what we refer to as a subject matter reviewer. We usually for somebody in that, someone else in that same specialty, preferably a senior person, and we give him the same material. The person looks at it, makes his own observations and criticisms. And then we take it back to the person who wrote it originally to now input these observations. So you have a second level of improvement over the material that the distance learner is getting. Now, after it has been certified that all of these have been taken care of, it now moves to the next stage, where we have what we refer to as the language reviewers, the English language reviewers. They look at the language, they look at the grammar, they look at the interactiveness of the content, they look at punctuations, they look at all of that and they make the necessary corrections. That is a third level of improvement. And after they are finished, it goes to the graphics people. The graphics people will look at it, okay, for this kind of material, we can get this kind of animation on the internet and add it to this material, which will make it easier for the student to understand. They look for all sorts of animations and all sorts of things to make it a lot more exciting and reader friendly, and they add it to it. Then it goes finally to the editor. The editor looks at it and ensures that everything harmonizes and rhymes. So at the end of the day, you appreciate that what the distance learner is getting is far, far, far superior to what the student on campus is getting. So that is our assurance of the quality that the distance learner gets. And that's why I said, no, he's not getting the same quality, he's getting something far better. The issue of the existing student switch, I think I did mention it in my presentation. That if for any reason a student on campus has some challenges or feels he doesn't want to continue with the on campus, he only needs to apply. And it will be approved, and he moves over from one campus to the distance learning platform. It's not about the Bello University. It's just like moving from one part of the university to the other. It's permissible. Okay? But the other way around is not permissible. You can't move from distance learning to on campus because part of why we have distance learning is because all campus is choked up and cannot even take you. Okay? So we can't start moving you on campus again to a facility where we do not even have the vacancy to accommodate you. And that's why it's only one way available one way. Determination of duration of study. Yeah, what we mean by determination of duration of study is that what we recommend for every student is to be able to commit 2 hours per week for every subject that we register for. That is the minimum period we require for your study. Now, if you are a worker, chances are you may be able to commit, let's say, between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. every day from Monday to Saturday. That is what you need to go through the MBA program. Now, if you are not working or you are self-employed, and consequently you can determine what time you give your studies, and you decide that, okay, I can afford to study for 4 hours every day. The input of that is that within 50% of the suggested time, you will offer all the courses. And if you pass them, why not you get your degree? The degree is not a function of how long you stay. It is a function of you having taken the prescribed courses and passed them. And that's why we said you determine how long you stay. And if by nature of your job or vacation, you can't even commit 2 hours, you can't commit more than 1 hour, you can spread these 2 years into 5 years. So that it is in tune with what time is available to you. Consequently, distance education is all about your convenience. It's about you. You are the driver. It's no longer the teacher. It's no longer the university. You are the central figure. You determine what happens, how it happens, when it happens. While somebody says something about carryovers, yeah, carryovers exist here. If you fail a course, you carry it over. But as I said, here, because the exam is still going to be repeated in about 30 days' time, you have an opportunity to take it again. You have that flexibility in distance education. And as I said earlier, the exam comes in, you've lost somebody, you are not in a good mood, You just inform us that, look, I don't feel like writing this exam now. Fine. Distance education with flexibility allows that. Unlike the on-campus environment, the timetable is drawn up. Whatever happens to you, you must, even if they're going to bring you along or the hospital bed, you have to come and write that examination. But the distance learning platform gives you that flexibility. You are just not in the mood. You define it. And you come back in 30 days and write that examination. Okay? So I think I've reasonably tried to answer the discussion. Thank you very much.